Hello, we're back at Stillorgan station, just across the road here. This is Brewery Road, and a very busy road, as I said last week. This is where the overbridge was, that was demolished, I think about 20 years ago. I don't have the exact dates, and I do have a photograph of it here. I think saw it last week. Excuse the camera work. So there's the bridge now, or back then. Certainly not now, unfortunately. But very ornate bridge. There was a steam train in the early 50s. And we're going to walk down where the steam train was heading back then. So this kind of dedicated walkway that will take us down to Leopardstown crossing. And so let's do that now. So here's the railway alignment, and really there's not much to be seen down here apart from the actual right of way is being converted into this walkway. There might be something, so that's the great thing about doing these videos. You can encounter something unexpected. It might be a hut that the gangers use when they're working on the track and the ballast or whatever to take shelter, so there might be something on the way down. So the last train this would have seen, just looking back towards the Lewis and the old Stillorgan station, would have been the lifting train in the summer of 1960. And what they did back then was they had contractors out, so contractors might have lifted the bridges from Harcourt Street down to Dundrum. That was their job, and then other maybe subcontractors to lift the track and the ballast. And there's an unusual picture of Carrick Mines there, where there's a tractor dragging along an old track, some old track and sleepers. So the lifting train would have been, not exactly sure when, but at the summer of 1960 anyway. And this would have been fenced either side. And there's something up here, mightn't be railway related. There's a football pitch here, maybe it's a changing area. Maybe had a railway connection back in the day, but possibly, I'm not too sure. Maybe it has a railway connection. But as I said in previous videos, this whole area would have been just countryside. They had an incident in 1957 where a cow wandered onto the line at Leopardstown down to the cutting at Kilmacud, and there was deep fog that night, and one train ran into another. It was just before Christmas 1957, 2 years before closure, and the driver and another passenger was killed. As I'll say down here, the tracks, or the level crossing didn't extend all the way across to the tracks. Now these houses were built in the 60s, not too dissimilar to the ones down in Shangana, and the land would have been sold and developed on, but this right away has been undeveloped, so who knows in the future. But I think it's unlikely to see the Lewis come down here. They decided to use Ballyogan, as I said, instead of Fox Rock, where they wouldn't have had wouldn't been as frequented as that side of Leopardstown. It's a popular area for walkers and runners all the way down. So we're near enough to the level crossing here now, and it was actually the only level crossing on the line that had gates. Tully didn't have gates, and Milltown didn't have gates, and I think there was one at Churchtown that didn't have gates. So the gates would have been, if you remember back to the pre-Dart era, those sort of gates, red and white, and they would have had a signal box as well. Now let me see, this fencing, that's in bad shape, so the signal box would have been near these pillars here, but there's absolutely nothing left from that time. So I think just around here would have been the signal box. And the road is slightly wider than it was when it was a railway. It's a lot wider actually. So you're looking down at towards Fox Rock. Fox Rock Station. What was Fox Rock Station? We'll head down there someday. You go down Torquay Road and the hedgerows, which is there now. Another interesting thing was Harcourt Street, or Bray to Harcourt Street is known for the fastest way to Dublin. Back in the day, there was a train back in the 50s that went from Bray to Harcourt Street in 25 minutes. It was an express train, and it stopped at Stillorgan and Dundrum. So you'd be hard pressed to beat that today. So there's a digger down there. You can see through this fencing here, and that's where the track bed was on the left hand side. So unfortunately the track bed has been built on all the way down. Actually, sorry, I correct myself. The track bed hasn't been built on. The digger is where the track bed was. You have houses with probably some extended gardens, but that will take you down to where Fox Rock Station was, the extensive layout. Now, that's quite significant. The bus that replaced the line, not the actual 86 bus replaced the line, but in recent years you've had a lot more buses in and out of this area. But it's interesting. I don't know what's going to happen, but the track bed is free. Whether there will be, and just outside Carrick Mine Station, the track bed is free as well. So it'll be interesting to see if they put in a line in the coming years. But it's unlikely. It's highly unlikely.